and cons of living in Park City, Utah. This is updated. So the first pro about living in Park City is the convenience. Park City is a ski town. We are a skiing town with a drinking problem. What I meant to say was a drinking town with a skiing problem, not a
skiing town with a drinking problem.
It's an amazing place to live, and it's only 30 minutes from the Salt Lake City International Airport. I was on the chairlift recently with someone who was traveling from Telluride, and we had a good chat on the chairlift, and we were talking about all the mountain towns and all the awesome places to go ski, and he was basically like, yeah, but you can't beat Park City. It's so easy to get to. It's so convenient. It's an ease about your lifestyle. You're not trying to climb the corporate ladder. You come here, you get to relax, you get to live an outdoorsy lifestyle, and you're super close to the Salt Lake City International Airport. So convenience is the first pro. The second pro is that you have world-class skiing in your backyard. I don't know if you can see it, but the Utah Olympic Park is just up over the hill behind me. And you've got Deer Valley, you have Park City Mountain Resort, you also have Woodward Park City, and then we have a brand new ski area going in called the Mayflower, which is going to be going over in next to the Deer Valley gondola on the Deer Crest side, so it's adjacent to the Deer Crest neighborhood. It's going to be a really bougie, brand new, super modern ski area. Absolutely nothing like it has been built in the US since like Beaver Creek. So it's going to be quite something, and prices are also very, very, very expensive. There's two new developments in that area, Velvier and Marcella. And Marcella is selling lots, and I believe that most of them are either sold or under contract. And Velvier just released some of their townhomes starting at 4 million, going all the way up to 12 million. So that tells you kind of the caliber of what you're dealing with this new ski area. Anytime there's a new development that's going in, it's going to do really well for real estate prices. So when you're investing here, buying here, that is a good thing for you in the long term. The third pro about Park City is obviously the outdoors. Look at how beautiful it is. You've really got to love the snow in Park City to live here. I mean, we're walking through this walkway right here, and it's up to my waist. It's waist deep right now. So you've got to love the snow. You've got to love the outdoors. I mean, winter, when does it start snowing in Park City? Sometimes it can snow in October. Usually the November, December, January, February, March, you might get a little bit in April, and maybe a little bit in May. So you've got to love the snow to live here. And the summer months are also really beautiful. There are a lot of people that come out here just for the summer. There's so many Floridians that buy second homes or vacation homes out here, and they come out here for a little bit in the winter, and then they go back home, and they spend the summers out here because it's much cooler and much more comfortable to live here than it is in Florida, because Florida is really hot. The fourth pro about living in Park City is the school system. The school system is amazing. And not to mention that the Wasatch County school system is also great too. So if you're priced out of Park City, because it is really expensive to live here, like have no fear, because Heber, Midway, the Jordanelle, like those areas, like you're going to be in the Wasatch County School District. And those schools are getting just about as good as Park City. If you are in the Camas area and the Colville area, Camas you're going to land in South Summit, Colville you'll land in North Summit. The fifth pro about Park City is it's really clean and safe. Like, we don't have a lot of crime here. We don't have a lot of theft here. We don't have a lot of break-ins here. Like, you might hear about it every now and then, like once in a blue moon, but it's really not that bad. And people don't get murdered. There's no shootings. Like, it's absolutely a really clean and very safe place to live. Most people don't even lock their doors, which is kind of crazy. Now, what are some of the cons about living in Park City? Well, first off, it's very, very expensive to live here. We are an old school luxury real estate resort town. The median price to land in the 84098, which is the Snyderville Basin area, which is where I am right now, is about $2.1 million for a single family home. And if you want to land in the limits, like Old Town, Deer Valley, you're going to be closer to $3.9 million for a single family home. and that's the median sales price. So it's really, really expensive to own here. If you're looking to buy a condo or townhome, you're at least going to be spending $1 million. And that's $1 million not for something that is new construction. That's $1 million for something that could be 20 to 30 years old and could need a little bit of updating. Overall, it's a phenomenal place to live though. And if you have the cash, it's absolutely worth it to come live your best life, especially if you're outdoorsy and you love the snow and you love to ski and you love the chill vibe of a mountain town. The second con that I would like to talk about is like Park City problems. Not really like the rest of the world. Our Park City problems are I couldn't find a spot to go skiing because the traffic has gotten so bad, because so many people have moved here that now I can't find a spot to go skiing, or I'm stuck in traffic on 224 for 20 minutes trying to get into town, or it's so busy that I can't get a reservation on Main Street to go eat dinner, or we had so much snow this season, true story, that the trash didn't come and pick up people's trashes for like 3 weeks in most neighborhoods because we had so much snow in January that the trash was actually backed up for about 3 weeks. So people were complaining about trash, and then you have people in Old Town who are buying ski and ski out properties that are complaining about snowmaking. So kind of just silly Park City problems that, it is congested and we've gotten more crowded and people love it here. So definitely during seasonal times like Christmas, the holidays, Sundance was crazy. Obviously during ski season, those are high traffic times and we have a lot of traffic. And not to mention that Heber is absolutely exploded in growth. So anybody that's coming in on SR 248 in that area gets bottlenecked right by the Park City High School, and coming in by the Park City Hospital as well. It's 2 lanes, one for traffic coming in, one for traffic coming out. And a lot of people have moved to Heber simply because they cannot afford to live in Park City, but yet they work in Park City or they work in Salt Lake and they have to commute. And so that little corridor by the Jordanelle is also really getting crowded and busy. So really with more people coming and maybe talks of the Olympics coming again in like 2032 or 2030, like we really need to beef up our infrastructure and fix our roads and maybe fix our bus systems and figure out a solution, because we are such a small town that we really can't handle a ton of people. The third con is that really like it is a tourist town. Like we thrive on tourism. Like Main Street is all tourism. And people that own businesses on Main Street, mom and pop shops, it's really hard for them to get employees to work on Main Street because the people that are working retail or working at the bars or working at the restaurants or their hostesses, everybody that's working in the hospitality industry on Main Street really can't afford to live in Park City unless they've lived here for 30 plus years and they bought a really long time ago, or they have real estate in their family and their family owns property here and they live in their family's house if they're younger. It's really expensive for those types of people to live here, so it's really hard for those people who have shops and small businesses and mom and pop shops on Main Street to actually staff their restaurants, their bars, their retail stores, simply just because it's really hard for people to get into town, get out of town, find parking, and actually gas, the prices of gas from driving from Salt Lake or Heber, wherever they're driving from, it's expensive and it's hard to find parking on Main Street. And during the ski season, it's really hard to get into town. So it is a tourist town and we do thrive off of tourism. And lots of people that move here end up opening up a coffee shop or a restaurant or a clothing shop or starting a fitness franchise. That kind of leads me into my next con, is that there's really not a lot of high paying jobs here. When you are coming here, you really are either buying a second home, a vacation home. If you're moving here, maybe your company lets you work remotely. Maybe your company is headquartered in Salt Lake where you're going to commute to Salt Lake to the office. Maybe you're somebody that's so high up in the company that you can work from wherever you want. So usually it's high level business people that are buying here. It's not somebody that is working at a resort buying a house here unless they're high level management. So there's not a lot of high paying jobs here. It's the hospitality industry, it's retail, it's the food industry, it's It's working at bars, it's working at the Mountain, working at Skull Candy. So unless you're upper level management, those entry level jobs really are not going to pay enough for you to live here, which is why it's so important for the resorts to get employee housing, because the cost of rent has honestly gone up. And so people that come in from Argentina and Costa Rica and all over the world to work at our resorts are always in a panic trying to find housing. And, you know, they're living with like 10 people in a 2-bedroom. And so the resorts really need to get some employee housing going up so that they can actually staff their resorts, because the locals can't afford to live here on the wage that they pay at the resorts unless they've been here for a long time and they're just doing it for fun. They're working at the resort to have something to do, to get a free ski pass, and it's not to make ends meet. And the next con is kind of just like all the new development. So where I've been walking around, this whole area is kind of like a tech center. And they are talking about developing it. And the locals are really, really upset about it. They don't want it to happen. There's actually a cross-country track over there. That's the Utah Olympic Parkway over there. That's Skull Candy. This is the whole Kimball Junction area. There's a transit system over there. But they want to develop this whole parcel of land and put in like commercial and townhomes and apartments, and the locals are just like not having it, because they're like, hey, you need to fix the roads first before you add more development. And also that brings me to the fact that all the bases at the resorts are going to be developed at some point. PEG, actually recently pulled out their application for the development at Park City Mountain Village. So now that village is kind of sitting vacant, waiting for another developer to come along so the city can re-engage with somebody new to see if they are going to develop that whole parking lot. And they get a lot of pushback from the locals, because the locals don't want to lose the charm of Park City. They don't want it to turn into this busy, crazy place. They don't want it to be like a mountain town of California or New York. Like, people moved here to get away from people, and they don't want that to change. And people just loved the small town vibe. And so with all that new development, it changes the small town of Park City a little bit. There's also tons of new development that is going out by the Jordanelle, by Mayflower, Sky Ridge, Hideout, everything around the Jordanelle. There's like 20,000 units planned of development out there, most of which has already been started, because you've got Sky Ridge, you've got the Mayflower Lakeside, you've got Marcella, you have Velviere, you have Benlock Ranch, you've got Shores, you've got Deer Waters, Deer Springs, anything with a deer in front of it. There's literally 2 gazillion developments going out there by the Jordanelle. However, it makes it more difficult for people who have kids that want to be in the Park City school system, because it doesn't put you in the Park City school system out there. It puts you in Wasatch. And then you're still close to Park City, but you're not in Park City. I try to be honest and thorough and give you guys logical explanations for why it's a really great place to live, and some of the pros that are awesome about it and some of the cons. It is an expensive place to live, but if you love the outdoors, you love the snow, you love to ski, it's definitely worth it.